So when we're managing different services items within Prime Services Catalog, role-based access control gives us the ability to be able to really manage the types of things that a user can get access to within the catalog itself. And by default, there's two roles. These two roles are My Services 360-degree consumer, which is basically going to provide a limited number of options based on what's in the catalog of services. So you're going to basically just have what has been approved and what is currently being displayed within the actual catalog itself. You also have another role, which is the professional. This one's going to be able to give you much more visibility into the services items that can be delivered to anyone in the business unit or organization that you're part of. So the idea behind this is you've got the consumer, which is really the end user. Maybe they need to go in and request an email account or a box account for file sharing. Whatever it is, they're going to have things that are predetermined, and they can go in and they can order these things and not get into a ton of trouble. The professional is really designed as maybe more of a individual that is responsible for a number of other more higher profile applications, things that require maybe approvals and those types of aspects. Or this could be a manager, where you've got the ability to be able to make requests for other individuals within the organization itself. That's really the difference between these two default roles. In addition, there's also some other key terms we need to talk about. The first is a service. A service in the case of Prime Services Catalog is a requestable item that appears in the catalog. So anytime you hear about a service, that's what we're talking about. And this is generally going to be incorporating an order form and a delivery plan associated with it. So that's all defined within the actual service description itself. You also have a service group, and this is a way to be able to group similar services together in Service Designer. So in this case, maybe we're going to group together AWS requests or BYOD, bring your own device requests, into the actual list. That way we can have a number of the same types of categories, if you will, that would be able to address all the different things that you can do or that are approved to be able to do from Amazon Web Services, or all the different offerings you have in a bring your own device perspective. Maybe you've got iOS and Android devices. Those would all be in that service group. You also have a service item. This is the individual service itself, and this is a runtime record of a delivered service. It'll give the user that ability to be able to perform lifecycle management actions on it. So when we saw these examples that we did in Prime Services Catalog in earlier lessons, you could see how you could manage, the instantiation of a virtual machine, like in the case of AWS. You could resize it, and then you could delete it when you were done. You can also do things like, migrating these different services. There's a number of different options you have. Bottom line is, the service item itself is the one that has all of these things configured, and that's what you're going to be able to do when you actually manage that within Prime Services Catalog. You can create all these different requirements. So next, let's go ahead and do a quick demo of being able to setting some permissions within Service Item Manager, so you can see how this would work within the platform itself. So now we want to be able to go in and talk about ordering permissions and RBAC, role-based access control, within Prime Services Catalog. In order to be able to get access to those components of the tool, you've got to log in as administrator. So you can see here we're logged in as admin, and then we need to switch the role to organizational designer. So the organization designer is the component that allows you to be able to create the different groups and organizations and roles within the Cisco Prime Services Catalog. Now, one of the things that's interesting about Cisco One Enterprise Cloud Suite, or CES, is that you've got the ability to be able to import all the groups and the users and the roles and things from the UCS Director, so that it actually integrates between the two. And that's what you're seeing here, is you're seeing that UCS Director default group has been passed on to the Cisco Prime Services Catalog. So a lot of these different components may be inherited, and the benefit of this is the fact that you don't have to configure them in multiple places. But you do have a lot of flexibility of being able to go in and provide very differentiated access based on how your organization is functioning. So the Organizational Units tab is really the component that's going to give you those different categories. So here you've got the site administrator. You also have the UCS Director default, which is showing you, some of the core configuration options for that. So this is the general view, and then you can see which people are assigned to it. So demo user is assigned to it. Again, that's all inherited from UCS Director. You have authorization requirements where certain individuals can be given authorization or not. We're not really using that structure here today, but you do have that level of granularity. Permissions can be configured as well. All of these will be able to give you very specific capabilities, and it's primarily based on the ability to either be able to order things, for yourself, or to be able to order things on behalf of others, or to be able to manage a team. So a lot of these components are really designed to be able to control what aspects of Cisco Prime Services Catalog you've got the ability to be able to change. So if you're a service designer, for example, you're building different services you're going to offer through Cisco Prime Services Catalog, you would have a login and you'd have the privileges associated with that particular module. If you're not that big and you've got an organization where, you've got one individual that's doing a lot of these different pieces, or, they're wearing multiple hats, you can then give those people permission as well. Bottom line is it's very flexible in providing those different levels of control in how you're going to be able to, configure those pieces and how you're going to deliver those services back to the organization and the people that are going to be tied to those roles. So here's showing you the different roles that we have configured. So not very many are configured in this today, but the My Consumer role, gives you the ability to be able to request, different types of self-service functions and things like that. So again, just a quick view of what you do with Services Catalog. The Services Catalog, the Organization Designer is a core piece of how you configure role-based access control.